So today we'll be learning how to set up the JDK or Java environment and Java working on a MacBook. So if you are a Windows user, refer to the previous video where I tell you how to set up the Windows JDK, but today we'll be discussing about the Mac. So this is a Mac OS, Macintosh operating system, and Apple laptop. So how do we do that? So before we begin, you all must be knowing the class resources that I discussed in the previous lecture, the link for which is given in the description section. So once you open that, it will open to a page like this. Now I don't know at what point of time you would be watching this video, maybe 2 years down the line. So then you will see lot many more entries here than this, just these 5, because I'm still developing it. So it's going as and when I develop a new thing, I'll upload the link. So the first thing that you will see here is something called as a notes link. So if you click that, this opens a shareable Google Doc in which I'll give you the entire notes. Like for example, yesterday I did for the Windows, so you can see all the notes related to the Windows that I give. So this becomes very handy when tomorrow you have to refer back to things. So today we'll be discussing how to set up the for Mac users. So I'll put in as Mac user JDK setup. This is a shareable link. You can view this video, save it for your use, and refer it as and when required. So on a Mac machine, the first step, which I already mentioned on the top here, if you see, to check whether you have a Java installed or not. Installed, you have to use something which is called as a terminal. Now what the hell is a terminal? You have to go to the start here and you can type terminal, TER, and you will get the terminal here, which is like the command prompt thing on a MacBook. Now one more thing you need to do is you can type terminal and drag it down here on the dock, so that next time you don't have to search it, you can directly click on this and it opens for you. Okay, so let's say you have or you don't have Java installed. So I'll just put in for me Java space -- version, and you will see the Java installed on my system. But in case you see something like Java is not installed on the system or invalid command, I'll tell you now how to do the installation of Java or JDK on your system. So for that, you can go back to the class resource, click on this JDK download link. Now if you click on this is going to superimpose on this notes thing here. So if you see this, it kind of overrides that. So you can do a right click on the notes and click on open link in a new tab. So now this way you have both the notes and the JDK page right here. I could have done that, but I don't want that you keep on clicking it and having so many tabs open. Your choice. So once you come to the JDK page, the Java download page from Oracle, you will see many things like Java 20, Java 17, Java 17 being an LTS, something which is called as latest long-term support. So we'll discuss all things later, JDK, JRE, everything we'll discuss. As of now, I'll just want to tell you that if you scroll down further, you will see even older JDKs, something like Java 8, Java 11. So for this course, anything above Java 11, I've mentioned it on the notes also, please go ahead and check that. Anything including 11 or above is perfectly fine. So as you can see, my Java version is something like 11, so it is perfectly fine. So how would you do that on your system? So once you go on this page, you have to choose your operating system or OS. So let's say you select 17 as this being the LTS, long term support. So you can choose your operating system, yours being Mac OS, and the Windows people will go Windows, the Linux people will go Linux. You will see 4 items here. Now we will go ahead with the installer. Now what an installer is like a program that would automatically set up the Java for you on your system. So there is a confusion which one you would actually do. So the 2 installers that you see, the x64 DMG installer and the ARM64 DMG installer. ARM64 DMG installer is for the newer ones, the newer MacBooks, and this is for the older ones. So for your reference, my laptop is a newer one. For your reference, if you see, I have already downloaded both, one being the ARC64, this one, and the one being the x64 one. So what happens if I try to install an older version into the newer laptop? It will not allow me. So if I double click on this, you will see this icon here. I'll double click this and I will get an error saying that, boss, your system your system cannot, incorrect JDK for x64, please download the ARM64 installer, that is this one. This is for my laptop. Okay, so it's pretty simple here, we don't have to worry about that. So I have also downloaded this one, the JDK20 ARC64 bin_bin.dmg. So if I click on that, similar window pops up and a proper installation window comes on the screen. I'll just do a cancel and start with the introduction, and I can just click on continue, installation type and so on, and it would ask me the password to do that. I won't do it because I already have 11 installed. I don't want multiple JDKs on my system. JDK as in being the Java kit. We'll discuss what JDK, JRE, everything is. I'm saying it again and again. So I'll not install it as I already have it on my system. So once you are through with the system, that is the installation. So how would you know where is Java installed? Okay. So first of all, what you have to do is you have to close this terminal. I'll also mention here. And open again to check if Java is installed. So I'll reopen the terminal and I'll again type Java space -- version. And if you are able to see the JDK details here, the Java 17 in your case, then congratulations, Java is installed on your system. But for any reason, if you don't know, if you still see the error message, I mean the installer should take care of it, but for any reason if you don't see that, you don't have to worry, because I'll tell you now first of all how to know where is Java installed. So to know that, you have to type this mantra here, some long list of commands. So if you use this line /user/library extension /java_home, this is going to tell you where is the Java installed on your system. So for my system it is, and it should be same for you too, it is installed at this place. Okay. So if I copy this command, this whole thing, go to Finder, do a right click, go to folder, and I paste this item here, contents home. So this is where my Java is installed, and this is where the bin folder is. This is very important, please remember the bin folder, and you can see all the Java installed here on my system. All right. So once you see the folder path tells you where the bin folder is. So bin folder is basically the host place where all the Java commands are located. We'll discuss that again in a bit once we are through with the installation. All right. So let's say you still getting the error despite the path, despite this Java installation showing. You still getting the error and it is not coming up for you. Don't worry. You have to do something else, which is basically telling the machine, the system, that whenever a Java command comes, you have to go and look into that bin folder, which I just showed you using this path. Okay, how would you do that? Now there are two scenarios. For Mac OS Catalina or newer. So for example, mine is the latest one. It has something which is called as a Ventura 13.3.1 something. So it is late. It is much later than Catalina, very new. So I have something which is called as ZSHRC. This is basically where my it is basically where my all my such information for system to look forward to is stored. So how do I tell ZHSRC to go ahead and the path, tell the path of the Java? That is through using this command, that is echo export Java underscore home, and this the whole thing I'm just mentioning it down here. So if you write this, I'll just copy paste this and give it a little bit bigger. Now what is a path? Path is basically telling the system where is the Java information holding, the folder path where Java is. So basically what you are doing with this is you are creating a name like a Java underscore home and giving it the value of the exact path which we just did using that whenever you use this path, it will tell you where the Java is and it saves in the ZSHRC file. So I'll just put this in the terminal. And pressing enter, it just gives a blank enter. That means everything is fine. So now if I do Java's minus version, of course this is wrong. I should close the terminal again and then again do it Java version, and it tells me where the Java is. Now for the older versions, that is the before Mac OS Catalina, if you have something like let's say a 17 or a 16 or 17 2016-17 version of Mac OS, you will have something which is called as bash profile. Okay, so what is a bash profile? It is similar to what ZSHRC is, and you have to do this one. It does the same thing for you, because if I try to do that in my system, I should get an error something like this. Okay, there is no error, but again I don't have a bash profile. But anyway, so that solves my purpose, and that should take care of telling the system where is the bash profile and where should I be, the path of the Java should be taken care of by that. Now you have been seeing I've been using copy and paste, which I know you do know how to use it on the Mac, but I'll still mention it. For copy, use command key plus C on a MacBook, and for paste, which I did here also, you have to use the command key plus V. So that takes care of a copy and paste. So now if you have reached the point, just keep on closing the terminal, opening a new one, and check the Java version using Java space minus version. And if you see the Java version here, that means congratulations, your Java is set on your system. Nothing more to be done from your side. So now that we are done let's take it for a spin, give it a test drive and see how things work. So let's first learn and create your first program called as hello world. So if you'll come down to the fourth item here called as the code file link, you will find something which will give you a program. I've actually zoomed it for you to see, and you have to create this program that will basically tell the system to print something which is called as hello world, I am starting Java. Alright, so let's do that. How would you do this? So I'll just update it in the notes for you. So for creating a hello world file, create a folder and open it in terminal. How would you do that? So let's say I go to my desktop. Okay, let me just minimize it for now, and I create a new folder here, something called as Java. Let me rename it. Java coffee to code. All right. So if you do a right click on this, it will give you a new terminal at folder. So if you click on this, you will see it opening in the Java coffee to code. So I'll mention it here also. By right clicking on it and selecting open at terminal. So now that I have the folder ready, I'll just open it for you for your reference. So I'll go to desktop. I'll keep it open for you for the reason. Now, step 1, create a new file by typing. Now please follow exactly what I have written here. Touch space hello world dot java. Now please make sure the H is capital, W is capital, there is a dot and the word Java. So if I open the terminal which is in the Java coffee to code, so I'll just mention touch space hello world dot java. Now if you check the folder, you will have a file called as hello world dot java and there would be Java written on it. Alright, so I'll double click it. It will open something in my okay, I already have Visual Studio installed, but then you would not have it. So I'll just close it and do a right click and do open with text edit. Okay, so I'll mention that also. Right click on the file and open with text edit. Now once the text edit is open, I would want you to go ahead and look at the first program hello world and type in the exact same thing that is written here. Now it is very tempting to go ahead and copy paste this, but I would want you to please type it out for the first time you are typing a Java code. So I will just keep it aside and start typing. So I would say class. Okay, now please make sure the small remains small, the capital remains capital. Java is very case sensitive. Hello world, public static. Okay, if you can see, it is auto correcting to capital. I have to manually go ahead and override it. The reason I have zoomed it is because I want you to have a look what is there. Now this is called as a curly brace. We'll discuss all of this, don't worry. This will be above the the comma on your keyboard. In the same button, same key you will see on the top this and the bottom this, the square brackets. So these are the square brackets, these are the curly, these are the regular brackets. Now I'll just continue with my edit. System.out.println, and I would say hello world, I am starting Java, full stop, quotes, bracket, colon. Now this is a semicolon. A colon is this one. We don't need a colon, we need a semicolon, which is like the dot and the comma. They are on the same key on your keyboard. It should be next to the L on your keyboard. And then I would simply do the closing brackets for the top two. So my program is ready and I have to save it now. Now again, to save it, I'll just mention in the notes, save it with command plus S. So if I do, as you can see, it is edited. I'll just do a save and you can see the edited thing is gone. That tells me this file is saved. So I'll close the file, close it, go to terminal and type javac space whatever the file name is .java. Now in our case, since the file name that we have is hello world.java, we would type in javac space hello world.java. Alright, okay, the Java is small, my bad. So I would, since I'm already in the file, I'll type in javac space hello world.java. Now if I have done everything correctly, it should just come down to the next line, no issues whatsoever there. And once you come down to the next line, you can check back the folder. Now there are two files here. Suddenly it is a file called as hello world.class. Very surprising. What is this? What it is doing? We'll discuss everything in detail, don't worry. So as of now, so finally to run the file, you have to type java space file name. Now please make sure I'm not writing .java this time. So it will be java space hello world, and that should give me my answer. So I write down java space hello world and it automatically prints what I asked, that is hello world, I am starting Java. Alright. So basically all you have to understand now is you can write this whole thing, and anything you write under this system.out.println under the quotes, it is going to print for you. Alright. Now for any reason, let's say I mess up the the code, which is very much possible. Okay, I already have a Visual Studio, so that is opening in that, don't worry. Open with text edit. Let's say I miss out by putting this C as capital. I mean, not my fault, I did that, and instead of dot here I put something like a comma or a quote, and let's say I mess up this semicolon as something like a colon. Okay, and I save it. So if I try to rerun it by first doing javac hello world, I will get lot of errors. The errors would be pointed it out here. Can you see it is actually pointing out to the errors here? 3 errors. So this is what happens when you don't write it properly. So please make sure, if you ever land in such problem, please remove everything and start fresh. Please try to get the word, try to get the entire code line by line the way I have written it here. That's why I have zoomed it for you, so that you can actually see what all items are here. So I'll go ahead and correct my file. Okay, it's already open, I believe. So I'll correct it, putting this as small, using the dot here, and using the dot here and using the semicolon here. All right. So once I've done, I'll save it again, close it, go back to terminal. No issues there. Now I'll run it using Java space hello world. Okay. One more thing. If I inside these brackets, if I write this down multiple times, so for example, if I write this down, okay, I have to reopen my code, open with text edit. So if I copy paste this, I've already told you copy pasting is using command key and the C, and pasting by, if I write it down 3 times and I save it and I go back to terminal, do a Java C hello world.java, compiles, and when I run it, I will get it 4 times. The way I have written it here on the screen, the way I have written it here 4 times, I get 4 times. So I can change the content. I'll say something like India is great. Now I'm just copying what the example I gave for the window, guys. So CSK won IPL, at least this year, and I would say this YouTube channel is awesome, and I save it and I try to run it again, compile, again run. So I'll get the 4 items that I wanted to print. Make sense? The reason I showed you this is because this is where your first assignment is. So if you click on the first assignment, you will be asked to write a Java program in a text file, compile and run it. Now you know how to compile and run it, Java C and the file name and all, and it should print these 3 lines. All right. So I will be posting the solution to it very soon. I've just reached till the first assignment. So if you are able to reach till here, that is where you were able to print these 3-4 items and create the file on a MacBook. Congratulations, you have come a long way. This is your first ever Java program that you wrote. Okay. So we'll see you in the next class, where I go ahead and tell you further about all the things that are mentioned here and why they are mentioned, and so on and so forth. So till then, bye bye.